Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to be going over the 4 earnings trades that I took last week. We profited on 3 out of the 4 of them, so we actually did very well because one of them was a 105% gain, but that was the smallest of all the gains. The next was a 128% gain and a 160% gain. That one was great. That was also a very expensive contract. So that actually made the most money out of any of these other trades. Um, then the loser we had was Pinterest puts. That was a complete loss or almost complete loss. We ended up taking about a 97% loss. And that's just what happens with earnings trades. You either make about 100% or more. Usually I go for more, and that's what happened in this case. Or you lose about 100%. Like I said, 97%, so your contracts really only have a few dollars left to them. They're basically worthless. So let's go over these trades. The very first one was Pfizer, and I took calls on Pfizer. This is a stock I've been investing in for the long term since it was $23 per share not that long ago. Recently it has come up. As you guys can see before earnings, it was $25, 25, almost $26. And then it did spike up and now we're at 28. I believe it was at 29 like a day or two ago. But how did I know to go long on Pfizer? This was a very easy one, considering that Pfizer is one of the most undervalued stocks according to the EPS. If we scroll down here, they were expecting a huge change in EPS. They were expecting from going basically hardly profitable or negative as a company overall to all the way up here. I think it was zero point 0.6 EPS, about zero point 0.6, and they ended up beating earnings. So it was better than I could have guessed at 0.82. So very good. As we can see, if we go to the 4-hour time frame, and kind of, I do have to zoom out a bit. Sorry about that. We could actually go to the 5-year. It's been in a terrible downtrend. So this is because it was doing so well during COVID, and now Pfizer um, doesn't really have as big of demand. But we were expecting such a huge change in EPS, so I thought this was a very, very easy trade. The next one was AMD. This was a winner on the short side, so we took AMD puts. As you guys can see, it did very well. And funny enough, I didn't end up closing my contracts. Usually I'll close my contracts like as soon as the market opens. If I'm happy with the gain, I'll close them almost immediately, like at 9:31 for me, Eastern. So in this case, I didn't. I actually saw the market was up on the day. I thought that it's definitely got some room to fall down, and that's exactly what it did, and AMD went along with the overall stock market. So I ended up closing the contracts right around here. Not the most I could have possibly closed them for, but you can never expect to make the perfect amount. So in this case, we closed our AMD contracts up 128%, almost 130%, which is very, very big in terms of, your average swing trade. So that did very well. If we go down to EPS, we can see they were expecting a decline in EPS. Now, this was nothing very major. It's not like Pfizer where it's just such an obvious move to the upside. In this case, it's just a minor move down where where AMD is reporting earnings that they haven't seen in over 2 quarters, now 3 quarters. But if we look on the 4-hour as well with this one, they've been in kind of this very weird and volatile uptrend. So we were looking for kind of a break from that, and that's exactly what happened. This one they were expensive contracts, so 128% is definitely a lot of money, but they actually weren't as bad as trading something like Nvidia, so you are risking not actually that much money on this trade. Next up, we've got our third winner, which was Datadog. This one is a little more unknown in the trading space, and actually the only reason that I know about this company, I mean now more people know about it, but it really isn't that popular for people to trade, and I only know about it because I happened to see it as a daily mover like a year or two ago on Cash App, back when I had Cash App as my broker, which yeah, that was probably like 2 years ago, at least. and I saw this pop up, and so I started following Datadog, and I finally placed an options trade on it, and it worked out very well. So we can see we were shorting it from about $126 with puts to market open, which was down here at $113. That did very well. This was my biggest gain of the week at 160% in profits, and these contracts were very expensive. Usually I do not trade very expensive contracts, but I saw the setup. If we go down here, it wasn't anything perfect in terms of VPS, but let's check out the 4-hour time frame. We were definitely in need of that break to the downside being in this uptrend. So this worked out very well. That's it for our winners. So we, like I said, had three out of the four of the trades were winners. Now let's take a look at the loser, which was Pinterest. And I can go ahead and close this tab because we do not need it anymore. All right, so for Pinterest, it had a massive move up all the way from 33, almost $34 to $40. So that was something like this. We were in short at earnings like this, and of course it went up, and so we lost out, we missed out on this trade. So that was our loser. If we go down here, we can see that it should have probably been a winning trade in terms of EPS because of the drastic difference in EPS. They were reporting earnings that were terrible, the worst earnings in over a year, but they ended up beating earnings, which isn't something you can always predict, and so of course the stock is going to go up. Not always, but they also talked about some good upcoming news, and so that really made the stock rocket. So that being said, that was our, excuse me, wow, I can't talk. That's our trade recap for this week. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment because I'll get to those as soon as I can, and have a great rest of your day.